Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? I can get this done a little bit quicker than the Law of One because I taken notes. I did 5 months of study on that book. It took me 5 months to read, but I dissected a lot. And I want to thank everybody for bearing in mind the revamping of the channel. I am very overwhelmed with gratitude to everybody who's been commenting, and I'm being very understanding of the circumstances that I have been placed in. I'm just playing it safe with the other authors and publishers and everything else, because, you know, I'm a little, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I'm a little nobody, right? I don't have that multiple thousands of people subscribe to my channel. I am not monetized. I'm just here trying to shed light on what's happening to us, the process that's going on with us, and different perceptions and opinions and different views of what's going on. And I find that, you know, we all come to people via spirit helps you. You're curious, you look, and oops, here we are. But I don't want to have any problems with any other publishing company and author and peoples who feel that, you know, knowledge should be free. Referencing some things should not come into problems. I understand when people are literally copying and stealing stuff, but I've seen many people doing it on a daily basis. But I'm not going to be one of those people. I'm not judging them. It is what it is. So I'm going to tackle the Keys of Enoch again tonight. I might also do a Pisces Sophia reading after this. Morgan's being really grumpy. My co-host, she's crumpling paper. She knows it eats away at my soul when she does that. But I'm gonna do key 106 and 204. And I entitled the video Dark to Light. So if you've watched it before, this is like a synopsis of where I have a lot of notes here. So it'll be pretty nice, lengthy talk. Before I do that, please hit that like button. That way more people, some of these were viewed by so many people, and now I have to start afresh. And it gets harder now that I have to recirculate all this stuff. So please help me out in sharing and subscribing to my channel and hitting that like button. It's very vital so that we can get this information out there. And I also really, if you have the extra money, the book is very important to our times of now. The two parts that I'm going to talk about is really what's happening to many of us currently, and has been in the last 2 to 3 years more intensely. Just walking off. So JJ had a download on his path, and it brought him to the Keys of Enoch. The local universe is composed of a triangular light core which the zone for testing is unnecessary for divine life. So he was talking about our local universe and the triangle and the light that is within it. Light synthesis, Pleiades, the throne and cradle to our consciousness. He goes into Orion and Pleiades a lot, more so the Pleiades. Let me read a little bit more and then I'll go into why. The Seven Sisters, which is the Pleiades, is a key to the physical proto-creation. Our local universe, the family of God, the Adamic race, came in the physical form from Orion and Pleiades, which the Pleiades, the seedbed and code support the pre-existence of consciousness of light. Though many may go through other kingdoms before the pure energy and thought. Elena Denon just had Dan Winters on. I really highly recommend, even if you don't subscribe to Elena, to go watch Dan Winters talk about our seeding, our beginning. I'm very much in line with that because I myself was shown and given the knowing, the downloads, to understand where my being became. The Pleiades is a younger star system than Orion. A lot of it was terraformed after the Orion-Lyran wars, where the Lyra system, the inhabitants of the Lyra system, had to spread out because they were being overtaken by the Seekar and the Nebu. The Pleiades, essentially, Alcyone, for the most part, from my understanding, is the central sun. That's what you see at the center. And everything else kind of gravitates off and around it. So we were seeded from them. It's a mixture of races from the Lyra system that formed into the Pleiades that came here to make Atlantis and all that fun stuff. And that's why I feel like he's saying the light synthesis and the throne and cradle to our consciousness, because they are they're like cousins to us in a sense, because we are genetically very matched to them, not 100%, but we have a lot of their characteristics. And they're in a big play helping with our ascension, helping us upgrade. And they're not the only ones. There's a lot of other races doing that as well, not to knock them off. I'm just trying to keep it with the guidelines of the book. But JJ really hones in on what my favorite Jason talks about, and I'm in alignment with all of this, that Alcyone is the crystallized sun, the central sun, and that we were ripped out of a space, and I'll go into that in the other key. And he talks about the Aquarius Matrix. It doesn't say the Aquarius Matrix, but it hints at that. It hints at that. And a lot of our light codes that the sun is expelling, and they're helping the plasma codes, the electromagnetic fun that's hitting us, and then we start feeling tired and I had a rough day today. It's just all of that. Your body is going to change. Now, Orion would be not necessarily the positive, it would be the negative aspect, because you have to have both. You need to have that balance. But you see how all the pyramids are in alignment with it. The Nazca lines are in alignment with it. A lot of different points around the world all align with Orion's belt. And I think I mentioned that in the last video as well. We, the chosen species that serve, will be able to obtain the body of the overself of light, which will use the biochemical codes to change the species so we can carry light into other creations. It's why we were created. God's race equals race of Christ. We begin creation with, then we graduate. Midway station Arcturus that opens up the lower heavens so we can move to align with the true star of the Pleiades, Alcyone. This is where Jason gets that. And many other people. We are the race that was chosen, that was seeded, that was created for this big grand experiment. To be able to be transformed as we go up in dimension to become light beings. But that doesn't just like happen in a snap, because we inhabit our physical bodies. So what is going on is we're getting these codes, we're getting these electromagnetic waves, we're getting a lot of different things hitting our bodies. And slowly through time, we are going to transform, including our consciousness, to become a light being. But that takes a long time. It takes a very long time. And in conjunction with this, the main a big theme is like the social memory complex, as a law of one would state. JJ doesn't really go into that. He calls it a couple of other things, but in essence, it's the same thing. We are all of God. We are the creation of God. So we will be eventually merging our consciousness to the greater consciousness, to the greater evolution of universes, to local universe, and then to the other universes. Intelligences of other far-off universes are to help watch and judge our planet and the gods who reign in the fallen stations. So we are being watched. We're in the fishbowl. We're in some alien child's science experiment, if you want to put it that way for a visual, being watched by multiple different races, good and bad. Watching how we all take these codes and the waves and all of that fun, and they experiment on it because they don't know how much a human body can withhold the codes, and how our organic selves will start to change what the side effects are, if any. They're very, very highly intelligent species, all of them up there, way more significantly intelligent than us. But still, even if they incarnated as a human, they're not encapsulated in a human body right now. So I think that's another reason why it's been taking so long. JJ mentioned that it was like starting in that 1973 era time. We're well past that, but a lot of these light codes were already been enacted since then, and slowly through time space more. But we're now getting belted on a daily basis with a lot of energy. So please be mindful to yourself and be aware so that you can take better care of yourself if you aren't. Now this is like the harder part of me having to not read off of the work that would be better translated and understood if it would just come from the source. And again, a lot of this I had to kind of reword and make it make sense, but it's not directly what it is. So I hope you guys understand. I'm doing my best. Sacred geometry, special mathematical symbols is another big topic with him. The 7 rays of the colors or the chakras help give divine breath. So again, we have our red ray, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, indigo, but I white, silver. And he's tying in 7 bulls, Taurus, which is Orion, 7 rams, Pleiades, and then they cross to make the lamb. Lamb of God. So when you cross those energies together, like biblically, it, for whatever it is, it makes the lamb. And that's where we want to be. Falling of Bear is Ursa Minor. Drago, the Alpha Dracones, the dragons. Those are the lower spiritual powers. And not to say like dragons and bears are bad, no. And actually I have a humongous, bigger than like black bear spirit guide. So my bear doesn't take offense to that. You know, when you shed these lower powers, shed these to be the lamb. Those who worship the evil will return to source to be reprogrammed. And I mentioned that a lot in the other videos that I do on the Anunnaki and the Great Alien Agenda. We need to forgive these things because they were here to help guide us into the understanding of what actual evil literally incarnate is in a material world. We have no freaking clue what evil would have been if they didn't show it and come here. And yes, they've infiltrated. Yes, from another dimension. Yes, they got smack dab in the middle of here. And they really infringed on free will. There's no doubt about it. There's no argument about that. But in the scheme of things, it was allowed. Remember, we're in Creator's universe, so it's all designed for specific reasons. Things happen, and we don't know why they happen. And then years later, we figure it out. Like a light bulb moment goes off. I'm like, oh, maybe that's the lesson I needed to learn. And that event happened to trigger that learning. The catalysts. So a few other truthers mention this as well, where these evil entities who can't be saved and their offenses have been so grave that they're not even going to be harvested or move up in dimension. They're going straight to source and then reprogrammed. So here again is another person saying the same thing as many other places. So it can't be wrong if multiple, I mean, it's again a perception, but a lot of books and a lot of entities have said this. I mean, we all return back to God, but we don't get like reprogrammed or AKA vaporized, as some people would put it. I don't want to be re-vaporized. I don't think you want to be re-vaporized. I mean, I want to be healed. I want this world to change. I think all of us want this world to change. If ascension symptoms can come with less pain and trauma, that'd be great. I think enough of us have went through enough trauma in our lives, and that's not to judge another person's trauma. The whole someone that has it worse than you. No, we all experience life, and we all have our own triggers that cause trauma. So there's no one greater trauma to another's. Sorry, there isn't. It's personalized and individualized. So we're done. I think a lot of us are just done. We want to see humanity move forward. It's been held back so many damn years. It's what's happening now in our paradigm is it should have already happened, and yet it keeps getting knocked back because there's people playing with the timelines. And we have that has to stop. The AI, all that fun, interesting concepts of, the computers are going to rule the world and all that nonsense. You still need a human. I was listening to Ryan Hall, y'all. Him and a bunch of storm chasers met up, and they were doing a live stream the other day. And something very interesting came up about meteorology in particular that is noteworthy for us. A computer could read and could estimate a storm, right? And it could sound the alarms out in the neighborhood, and it could do stuff. But you need a human with emotions, calm, and relay information to you on a human level. A computer cannot do that. I am sorry. I don't care what program of sincerity that has. No computer could be humane to you to say, well, I'm looking at the storm on the ground and I'm seeing a funnel. The computer is not picking it up, and I'm telling you, be safer than sorry, go into your safe spot. And I will let you know when to come out. A computer is not going to tell you that. It just isn't. We have gut instincts, a computer doesn't. It has math. And not to say that math isn't, of course, a part of a universe. It is the makeup of our universe. But mathematics isn't human. A computer isn't human. We program that. But if a storm comes, I'd rather have human eyes on the ground. I'd rather have being relayed human with empathy. Hey guys, this is something you need to look out for. Take cover. You're still going to need humans. You can't get rid of everybody. Automating all this stuff. Machines do break. Who fixes the machines? Humans. We need to have a balance in this world, in my opinion, between technology and just being you. I think technology is a very important component of our society. Yet at the same time, if you let it control everything, that isn't good either. Certain things still should be done by paper. What happens when your computer crashes and you didn't have your external hard drive hooked up and you just lost everything? I don't know, you lose everything. That's if someone can't retrieve it for you for an X amount of dollars. It's annoying. Yep. P204. The sons of light, through projection, sends geometry of creation of fourth dimensional space to the code, to then code the spiritual man into the fifth dimension, a larger, what is said, membrane of the universes. Not only are we getting these light codes from our galactic friends, it's coming from source, and all the government ratings of source. So the sons of light are helping us as well. Shift into the fourth dimension, then the fifth. You can't skip. These codes are done through telepathy, and produced modulation gravitational waves. Those carry through those waves of intelligent light to the larger universe. So this is all happening through waves, functions, gravitational waves that are modulated. That's why we need to decalcify here. You can receive these light codes that the transmission of light codes and intelligent infinity gives you the realization of Creator's purpose and acknowledgement where we are in relation to the larger universe that's evolving. Love, light, force. So once we get all these codes, many of us already realize this component that we're a part of Creator because Creator's within us and we are all a part of the universe, and then we all will eventually have a knowing of the larger membrane, of the larger universe that exists beyond what we can fathomably see, because we will be able to have all that knowledge insourced into us. The chakra vibrations are given by higher evolutionary light. The body in fifth dimension starts with programming that is mutual, which has projected codes that help create the eighth and ninth chakra vibration level. When that occurs, the red and orange ray, the first and second chakra, takes over third dimensionality and is changed. The eighth and ninth chakra are important so light codes and sacred geometries of living light can be absorbed. Eighth and ninth. With light codes, with light encoding the physical avatar, then the overself or higher self can become one, where you can be in 2 or more localities. And the last key that I read on the other video was giving more of that insight that you're going to be able to be in awareness in multiple bodies, but you have to have those chakra vibrations and rays opened up in order for you to do that. You know, a lot of people message me that they see me in dreams and that I get snapshots of myself working upstairs on a spacecraft. Now, am I being astrally projected into, while I'm sleeping here, am I zipping up into my future self, working in that avatar? And then when that job's over, I come in, I wake up? Could be. It's a lot to fathom. It doesn't sound like that could happen. But what happens if that's the truth? What happens if that is to be the reality of things? But what happens if I'm not sleeping, but I can still control the avatar upstairs while I control the avatar down here and be aware of what I'm doing in both? I think that's pretty cool. You can work in another body and get a paycheck and not have to work down here and do whatever you damn please to be happy. How cool would that be? If the AI and all the machines want to take over all the human jobs anyway, hey, more time to have fun. That'd be pretty cool. Just saying. As we function in the larger membrane, our cells process higher mind knowledge. As a brotherhood, pulsate their wisdom and light into us like a stream. So we're getting sent again, not just from our friends, not just from the Sons of Light, but the brotherhood also is sending us streams. And each of these things are doing different things. Some of us are having ascension symptoms that is physically changing us within. Are those light codes coming from the brotherhood? Are they coming from our galactic friends? Are they coming from the Sons of Light? Are they coming from Creator itself? It's coming from all of it because it's all controlled. And each one of us is individualized. But too many of us are having very similar things happening. So then you really have to start looking at, well, there is validity. I don't know why I can't say that word properly. I actually do know why. Teeth. The lack thereof. To understand that it's all, to make it valid, that if it happened to one person, you can skid it off like, oh, maybe that person's crazy. But more and more people are having these symptoms. More and more people are waking up and remembering who they are, which is really, you know, some people say it's, why would you want to remember the bad portions of other lives? It's because of a learning experience. You need to know what you are. We already done this before. We are here now to remember. And these codes are here helping us remember and then move up and forward to infinity and beyond. My co-host, hi. We are shifting into a different membrane program. and going into this membrane, our genetics need to function on a higher light wave. Our biorhythms are then shifted to a less dense octave of matter energy. So we are shifting right now through a different portion of space, and it says it, I'm gonna read a little bit more into that, but we are moving closer to Alcyon. We're shifting in the Matrix. We were shifted out of it a very long time ago. My favorite Jason touches upon that point. I agree with that. But we were shifted again in 2012. And now we're finally coming back to where we was supposed to be a long time ago. Okay. Oh no, she's eating paper. I can say that my cat eats my homework. She eats paper. She bites it and then spits it out. I don't know why she does that. Besides wanting attention. But we are now back to where we are. And we're moving into a less dense pocket of space. And in this pocket of space, there's a lot of photonic energy where we have to adapt to a lot, being less dense. We are very dense as material matter. We have to be less dense in order to go a little further into this pocket, little bubble, as you would say, to get where the central sun is, to align ourselves with the central sun, which is in the Pleiades. So if you look at the belt of Orion, and then you look up a little further, you'll see Aldebaran, and then you look a little bit up, you'll see the cluster of the Pleiades system. And no wonder why they say it's the ram, because I'm an Aries Pleiadian. Curious. The Brotherhood of Light has been working with the electromagnetic density. The electrification of matter helps prepare us merge with the higher self body, or the overself. I know 2 years ago I had a soul swap with my higher self so that my other self can heal. I would have been dead by now with all the circumstances that I've been going through in the last 6 months. I would have offed myself, no, for real. I mean, honestly, this gives me a purpose. My job is very important to me, my last one, that I was forced to leave. It really made a difference in children's lives, and I had a purpose. Once my mother died, besides my cats, I don't hold too much of a value purpose on this planet. And it's not to say that I don't value myself and I don't feel worthy. I do. But in a whole, I reach out to a lot of people for help and I get denied, or I get the silent treatment, or I just get looked and passed over. And again, it's getting the right people to see the value in you. And I wouldn't have been strong enough with my old self inhibiting in me to go through this now if I didn't have my higher self swapping. Definitely not. Wouldn't have been able to handle the stress. I already stressed doing my mother's funeral, and every component of that all by myself. You know, dealing with things all by yourself, literally. I mean, it's not easy when you don't have many people to put your head on and give a hug and say, it's going to be okay. Because I don't have that. I have 2 friends, physical friends, that I see once in a blue moon. So life could be worse. But if I didn't have that swap, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have been strong enough to handle all this crazy shit that's been just tossed my way. Doesn't make it any less stressful, guys. But I'm still here. I'm still pushing. And then we are moving into a new pocket of space, less dense. New magnetic vibrations are making changes to the nuclear membrane on the planet. So not only are we changing, Mother Gaia is also changing. She's going through her transformation. So the earthquakes, again, the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the flooding, the storms that are happening are insane. All these things are happening because Mother Earth is actually getting cleansed out of all the toxins that these people have been poisoning her with for millions of years. It just didn't happen, guys. And yes, there is like a climate change, but in the scope of things, like, just stop. And the things that are being promoted, I just want to give a little FYI on this. The things that are being promoted to make things better or friendly aren't friendly. Look up how people mine batteries for electrical devices. Then go back to what Tesla was doing. And you don't need that stuff. You're staking again, you're ripping the earth. You're taking elements from the earth. My cat's being very destructive. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. The fields of this new magnetic field are penetrating the tRNA molecule. Now, I'm not here to judge anybody. Everybody had to make an individual choice. With what agenda was out with the RNA, this is a lot of reasons why a lot of people didn't do it. Because it does affect, depending on what lot number was handed to you, the penetrating of the new magnetic fields. I don't know exactly what the pole shift is about right now. There is sort of a pole shift happening because of our magnetic field is changing. It's literally telling you there's a new magnetic field that we are, as we're moving into this pocket bubble and we're going further into this bubble, okay, of this photonic gravitational magnetic field, okay? Not only are we absorbing these codes and like taking them in, and Mother Gaia is doing the same, the fields in and around our planet are changing as well. Okay, so the molecules in our body are going to be changing to help us with the magnification in the fields that go. We have our own field. We have a biofield, right? We have a positive and negative pole. And we have a toroidal field around us that's magnetized very low. but that's going to start getting stronger. So detox so that you can get your codes. And again, this is not from the book, but I just want to reiterate, this is where I get a lot of my information when I just talk and ramble on and rant. A lot of this information is coming from this book and the Love One and the other books. So it's not that I don't know what I'm talking, it's in these books. I also have the knowing, I get the same things. And these books have validated a lot of stuff I already thought inside my head, just never said it because it sounds fucking crazy. This sounds crazy. But more and more people are waking up to it. You have a lot of new channels of people that they're reading the Schulman resonance and they're reading how the sun, which is a simulator, by the way, but how we're getting light codes and all the CMEs and the X-class bursts and all that fun shit. It's affecting us, and it always has been. Now we're taking like more of a conscious step to learning about it. This information's been out for a long time, but now we are consciously all as a society, as humanity, we are all starting to now realize a lot more about these topics, and not just a few people, and it's a fringe group of people who, you know, only like the nerds of that topic will study. No, more people are now becoming more traversed in this knowledge. It's not just the one group, okay? The spiritual people, you know, people used to make fun of people like me, you know, oh, you the kumbaya people, you're all about love and light and, you know, hippie stuff. And it's like, no, there's a lot that goes, it's very expansive. It's a lot of knowledge. It's not just about that. It's understanding the relation, the vibration, the frequency, the octaves. It's about understanding the magnetic fields that we all inhabit and every field that a living being has. So I just needed to put that one out there. The Sons of Light are helping with our light code upgrades to help us shift to aiding in evolving us. So we are evolving as a species, and there will be those who will not be coming along for the ride. It depends on what you believe in, and I'm not here to change your belief system, but we all prearranged to be here for this time and now. We've all incarnated over and over and over again. So if you're here consciously watching me now, congratulations, you've made it. But people will be in the next few years, if you signed or had an arrangement with Creator that you weren't going to evolve, you weren't going to fourth dimension in this physical vessel, okay? That doesn't mean you're not ascending. That doesn't mean it at all. That just means you're not taking this body with you. You might get a better body and move on into the next dimension, which is not a big deal. You know, and we have to, and this is something I know I'm going off this book. I'm sorry, but it's important. If anything in this world has taught me anything, okay, and I'm going to probably get emotional about this, but it's the truth. There's so many people who are so attached to material things and people. My mother was attached to me. She didn't want to go to the light. Okay? She was trying to stay in her body. And what would have happened if she died and I wasn't there to cross her over? She would have been earthbound, ghosts, plasma projections. She would have been that. She wouldn't have been able to cross over and go into the light, and either way would have been able to see me. She's able to now work and help me out and not be stuck in this material in-between world. There's always a purpose for why a person passes away. And it's not to be heartless. You can't be attached because you are already attached to them in a spiritual, energetic way. They're always going to be with you. People are so stuck on what is going to happen to my kids, what is going to happen to me, what's going to happen to my husband, what's going to happen to this, that, and the other person. We're all one and the same. We're all attached energetically, consciously. We all mirror each other. We're all aspects of parts of us that we don't explore, but someone else does. A lot of people want to embrace the kick-ass, badass image of what I am. I always get, people like, you're so different, but it's so refreshing to see other people like, oh, she's a freak and she's this and that and the other thing. Great. But that's a mirror aspect that you didn't play in this life, but I did for you. We all have roles and we mirror each other, if that makes sense. Each one of us plays roles, and each one of those roles is projections of things that we didn't play in this life, but other people are. But you might be interested in it. I can't go in depth of how in high school, for example, I was super, super, super goth, okay? I was a black hair, I did Lydia Deep bangs, Janko jeans, and all different types of outfits, okay? Then slowly and suddenly more people were brave enough to like explore that look and be going to school with that look and taking and owning that. I didn't care that they were like trending off of me. I didn't care. I was like, oh, more people the merrier. Hey, yay. Can't be the only one like this. It's satisfying. Don't take it when someone does something that rips off of you. Take it as a compliment. People do it all the time. People are malicious about it, though, sometimes. But take it as a compliment. It's okay. I don't mind if I see models for Saint Laurent did the same eye makeup as me, and I've been doing my eye makeup very similar to this for years. I'm like, oh, finally someone's acknowledging the way I do my eye makeup. It also hides my wrinkles. And I have a really bad scar in my eyelid. Thanks to Ethan, almost took my eye out when he was a baby though, and it's okay. But it hides it. It makes my eye very droopy. So I hide that. Okay, getting back to the book. I know I'm going off topic. But I'm hoping that if I'm reading it in this way, that the concepts that are being, obviously you can't read it again from word to word, but you're getting like the concept of me trying to kind of lay it out for you in common terms. A lot of this stuff is not easy to understand, especially the very significant language he uses that I can't just phrase because I would have to just read the book. JJ Hairtech, I'm not here to upset you. I love you. And again, it's not even your fault because your people didn't get in contact with me. It was other people. But to be respectful and honest, I'm doing this. When you drop the ego and the identity to that ego, you'll be able to rise to the identity of creator, the knowing of creator, of its fullness, and overlap time space, which you can join your spiritual brothers and sisters in the multidimensional time space. So when third dimension is us realizing ourselves. So when we're babies, we're not aware fully, consciously of ourselves just yet. We see the world and the outside world around us. And then when we grow, we start becoming more aware of our surroundings, of colors, of sounds. And then as we start growing and getting older, we start exploring ourselves. We start understanding, I have two eyes, I have a nose, I have a mouth, I have ears, I have hair, I have this genitalia, that genitalia. I have 2 feet, I have 5 fingers. Like, you're self-discovering who you are. And then as you get older, you develop your personality more and it comes out and shines. And then you start having your ego. Your ego is important because it helps you identify with the physical reality that you're in, and it protects you to an extent. Now you can use your ego for good or for bad, but it makes you who you are, and it is a defense mechanism that helps us. But once you let that go, leave your ego at the door, you are as equal to everybody, to the highest of the billion and trillionaires to the lowest of the low. There's no extremes. We're all human. And we all have the capacity for greatness. And we will be in that greatness. You have to have that mindset. There's always going to be somebody richer and poorer than you. But some people don't need much to be happy, and some people need a lot to be happy. Drop the ego. Because we're all a part of creator anyway. But when we do that, we are allowing more of the light to shine within us so that we can join the multidimensional time-space paradigm. It is vital to continue to raise your frequency and vibes so that the consciousness can be one with the continuity. Let's see. When you tap into the light continuum, the knowing of having other bodies becomes into awareness. So that's going back to the idea of we might be on a different plane of existence, living out a whole different life. Yet still we'll be aware that that's going on, but we're in control of this vehicle. But eventually we will be able to control multiple vehicles and go in quantum leap into the other parts of us that are existent. Whether you believe in that or not, that's okay. But J.J. Hurtek states 5 bodies, electromagnetic. The 5 bodies are electromagnetic, epikinetic, Eka body, Dramatrian body, and Zohar body. Collectively, they make use and are us of divine wisdom, which I put into the context of the social memory complex, a one unifying planetary mind coming together with other membranes and star systems. So all those bodies that are connected into that one are a social memory complex, and you can pull from the ether the information and the codes and the sources of things from other star systems. That's why quantum entanglement and the multiverse theories are very, very important to start looking into, because it, even in its simplest forms, if I'm controlling a body in Ursa Minor and I'm just like, hey, I need this. Boop. Oh, okay, thank you. That'd be really cool, don't you think? You could reach out to your galactic brothers and sisters and star family like, hey, I really do need to be beamed up, and not just my astro body. Come and get me, please. I'm sure they're ignoring me, FYI. Hi. And lastly, sons of man become sons of light and spread them far into the other universes. So in like a big summary of all of this, we are being planted with light codes and waves of energy, electromagnetic, biochemical. All these things are happening inside of us right now, whether we are aware of it or not. They are occurring. And we are growing consciously into awareness to a multitude of things. We need to drop the ego. We need to become a part of the all, the I am, the creative complex that we all have, and unite and combine together, like I've always been saying. So then when the shift happens and we all meet each other on the other side of consciousness, we're all better able to withstand the vibrations and frequencies. We are able to then help each other out. And we're right now in this really humongous transition period. This is a huge transitional period. Like I said, we're in like the sub octave, and then the sub octave of fourth dimension. We still inhabit third and fourth. We're not completely in fourth. We're not completely in third. We're in these in-between stages, and we're being prepared right now for these shifts. Whether we like it or not, we really are going through that time-space continuum, and we're in a different pocket of space. Density is changing. We're changing. The earth is changing. You could see all the storms, earthquakes, movements of Antarctica. Things are happening in and around our space, and like no one can figure it out, but we're being told basically from upstairs what actually is happening. We're being purged and cleansed. And it's all at the helm of God. This is all designed. So we signed up to be here for this big experimental change. And I have no doubt that it's going to work. Just don't get attached to people, places, and things. And that's another big part of doing healing work and vibratory work and working on yourself each and every day, because it's all part of the plan. It's in divine God's plan. Your loved ones will always be with you energetically. They're not here in the physical. I get it. It sucks. I lost just too many people in my life, but they're with me on the other side. And I mean, I know that when they're around. So yes, it's tough. And a lot of people don't believe in that. You think you're dead, you're dead. I think there's a lot more to it than that. We are very complex organisms. We are very complex, and we're all shifting and moving in different ways. We have to understand that this book is a key in helping you understand the changes that are happening within you, to your DNA, to your RNA, to your physical system, and what is to come when we hit those other high density dimensions. How we're going to respond to it. And that's like the guidebook to that. And not just that, the other books that I'm reading help understand the expansive universe that we inhabit. So I hope you enjoyed that insight synopsis of Key 106 and 204. Again, there was a lot of technical stuff that I could not talk about because you can't just reword it to make it make sense. It makes sense in its original form. So I do apologize. Tell me what you think. I do appreciate everybody who's being really supportive and understanding. I don't make these laws and I don't make these rules up. I think a lot of them are ridiculous. Of course, it's a mystery as to why people don't answer my emails, but again, I'm just a small little channel with like-minded souls who have found me to read and research these topics. So at least I can do that for everybody. I'm wishing each and every one of you love and light. I'm going to tackle all these. It's just how to word them. So thank you for bearing with me. Again, if you see videos start disappearing, it's a slow process, but I hope I get it done before someone else tries to do something that's just implausible. But again, I get it. It is what it is. And I just have to now move on and recap my knowledge, which is fine because guess what? It's still important to us all. So with that, I'll see you on the next one. Again, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so. And please share. This way, more people get to see this knowledge and get to understand what is actually happening. And if not now, in the near future, more people are starting to get like the inkling to do some research. So I hope you all enjoyed. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.